Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video of My Creative Life with Kel Sweetie, where we read books, we make art, and in other parts of the year, we go holiday decor hunting. This is part 2 of a 2-part series of my first holiday haul of the year. I started a huge haul, and once I started editing, I realized I had an hour and a half of footage after edits were made, and I just did not want everybody to sit through all of that. So if you have not gone and watched part 1 of this haul, please go and do that, because I found some amazing things from some estate sale that I went to this weekend. Especially if you're into Christmas, vintage Victorian Christmas and everything, you're gonna want to go check that one out. There's some great Halloween things that I found as well in that video, so go check that out if you haven't, and then come back to this video. But this video will be talking about all of my finds during the month of May. So basically everything that I found thrifting, as well as a few things here and there from Target. Essentially Target. It should be a really great video today. I just did not want you guys to sit through an hour and a half of a haul. That just seemed ridiculous. It's still blowing my mind how long that was. So stick around if you want to see the rest of that, and I'll see you soon. So let's get into what I've gotten just during the month from both savers and thrifting, as well as I think there's like a couple of these items I've gotten like at Target and Etsy. So let's get into all that. I'm going to start with the item that I got from Etsy. Last year, one of my pride and joys that I crafted was my Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein styrofoam busts that I got on clearance at Joann's one year. Now, I had those busts for years and always had the intention of painting them. And I finally got around to painting them last year, and I loved how they turned out. They had this vintage hand done quality about them that I'm so excited to pull out this year. I really wish that they had, I was like, well, maybe Joann's had other ones, because I only got those that year, and I wasn't even looking for any other ones because I got them on clearance, and I haven't seen them again since. Like, I've not seen them put out any of those styrofoam heads again, and so I googled it online, and I found they did put out one other head, and it was either a zombie or a mummy. Whichever way you want to look at it, I'm looking at it as possibly a zombie, but I could definitely see how, like, especially in the back, there's a lot of crease, so it may be a mummy. But they came out with a zombie one, and there we go. That's the angle. This zombie head styrofoam bust was one of the only other ones that they released, and it wasn't being sold anywhere. Somebody on Etsy, I think, had bought up a couple of them and had them in a storage bin and was reselling them. I got this one for $14, which I'm kind of like, I got the other one for 50 cents. But nonetheless, I knew that I really wanted the last of these because I love painting it. Like, I had a really fun time painting them, and 2, they turned out so well. So I was like, fine, I'll get the zombie one. This can go in my, the idea is that these are going to go in my Monster Mash movie area. So expect to be seeing me painting this one this year. I love the little details in it, and the idea that when you paint this, I liked how I kind of painted it, and it was kind of like you can tell that it was painted. I don't know. It's a certain quality about it that's just like handmade. It's kind of like what we just saw with all the vintage items and everything. And so I can't wait to start, doing this one so I can sit with the rest of them and I'll have the whole group. Now, do I wish that there was a Wolfman one? Do I wish that there was a Dracula one? Absolutely. Do I even wish there was a creature one? Certainly. Certainly so. But this is what we got. And I'm excited to see how this one kind of turns out looking and how I decide what way I decide to kind of go into it. Once I start doing my crafts, because there will be a lot of crafts this year, I already have the ideas of what I'll be doing for the crafts starting end of July, probably around August. I'll start doing those crafts. I want to do a lot this year. So this will be one of those crafts, and I'm very excited for this pickup. Now, these items are new and they're from Target. And again, I've been really trying to focus on things from my Monster Mash area because I know, and my apothecary area, because I know those are the two places that are new to kind of my theme and that I don't really have as much for. As opposed to like my nostalgia area. Last year it was a lot of collecting vintage items. This year with the Monster Mash and the Witch's Apothecary, there's going to be a lot of things that I kind of need now in order to make those ideas happen. And so I've been focusing on that. And one thing I've been focusing on are more figures towards my favorite Halloween movies. One of those things, as if you go to my, what got me back into horror movies was the movie Scream. When I was a kid, I was super afraid of Ghostface in the Scream movies. Now, because of how meta they are and all of that, they're basically just grown-up Scooby-Doo movies. So, me and my partner actually watch them, and so I actually really love Ghostface and the Scream franchise. You know, when they have the new school classics and everything, Scream is always at the top of my list. I have a little Ghostface, like behind the camera, I have a little Ghostface, little teddy bear who shakes around. I have Ghostface slippers on. I love Ghostface. I absolutely love the Scream, the Scream like characters and franchise and how meta it is, regardless of what Spyglass has done. But all that being said, I finally got the little Toonie Terror Ghostface action figure that they have. It's so cute and very Scooby-Doo in the way that it's designed. And I absolutely love it. And it wasn't priced like crazy. Some of these are priced, like one time I found the Grady twins and I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy those for The Shining because I love The Shining. They wanted $34 for it. So I put them back. This was, I think, $14 or so, which is more agreeable to me for like a new action figure type of situation. I think I've looked at other Toonie Terrors and they vary based on how big or how many are in the container. They're not just like one size fits all regarding how much they charge. So I think because the Grady twins, they're counting as 2 figures, that's why they were $30. But I still was just like, no, we're not gonna do 2. We're not paying that amount of money for that. I haven't found any other ones so far that I'm really interested in, but I look every time I go to Target to see if there's any other ones that I am like, oh, that's cute. That'd be cute for the little Monster Mash area, because I do want not just classic movies. I do want the slasher movies. And now that me and my partner are obsessed with the X-Files, I do want a little bit of X-Files mixed in there. Joann's has this like tree hugger thing that has like a little alien, and I'm thinking that I may get the alien to wrap around my console at the bottom. I don't know. I'm still mulling that idea around, and we will see. I'm not trying to just run out and go get it, but I'm thinking that may be the case because I really do like the idea of the aliens. And since we are now really into X-Files, that may be the direction we're moving in. So look out for that as Halloween decor hunt and go out and about. Probably like this upcoming weekend. We'll see. So that was one of my things. And then also I got this I've been eyeing this for a while, mulling over whether I was going to get it. And then I finally pulled the trigger on getting it. I think it was on sale possibly because I just don't think it was as expensive as I thought it was. But it's one of the NECA Universal Monster figures that comes in these box. And there's Frankenstein. And there's a little self there. So I really love the box. I love how you can present them in front of the box. So that's my idea, is that I'm going to take him out of the box and present him that way. I love that Frankenstein is like a reanimated serial killer. Like he was originally a prisoner and they reanimated him. And I think that he'll go perfectly in my little area. along with my other little Frankenstein doodads and thingamabobs. So I think that that's really cute. We're just getting like the season started, and I think this is something that happened last year, is that I'll buy something, I'll be like, oh, I like it, so let me buy it. And then later on in the season, I realized that like, wow, I kind of maybe jumped the gun. On some things. I know that there's gonna be other options, like the Dracula NECA figure are there all the time. So I don't feel like I'm sitting here and I need to pull the trigger on it just yet. I'm still gonna be looking for the Toonie tears of different kinds, because I do want the new ones in there. And I do want to see like what the alien looks like from Joann's before I kind of go, yeah, I absolutely need that to go with X-Files things, because I also still need more X-Files things. I've seen on Etsy, they make these VHS cassette tapes that have like LED lights in them. And I saw one for X-Files and I thought that was interesting. And then I saw one for The Shining that had like a axe put through it. And I thought that was really interesting. So I may purchase that. I don't know. I'm still kind of mulling through it, trying not to just buy things when I'm bored. So, but we will, we're trying to pace ourselves. We say that now, but especially when HomeGoods starts putting out stuff, and I'm basically going every day to HomeGoods just to see if they put out something new or just for the hunt. We will see. We will certainly see then. That was all I got that wasn't thrifted. So these are the things that I've gotten. Actually, these are all from what I got the last Savers trip that I took. That's crazy. Looking at it all. But it's all, I will say that it's all Christmas except for like 1 or 2 items. So let's do the Halloween items first. First on the Halloween items are these brass little cups. And I thought they'd be great for like my Witch's Apothecary area to kind of sprinkle in. I want a lot of patinaed brass, the Amber Apothecary bottles, antique books, things of that nature. And then I think I want to mix in some foliage type thing. Like for some reason when I'm picturing this in my mind, I'm seeing moss for some reason. Although I don't think I want it to be a garden witch. I'm going back and forth on that. But I know that I want something maybe just like herbs. I'm still thinking it through. I'm obviously still thinking it through, but I thought these would be really great. For the set, it was $5.99. And so I thought that was a good price, and they're completely patinaed and really fit the aesthetic that I'm going for in my apothecary. And that's another thing, when I'm going to Savers, I'm looking in like the brass areas for any like brass candlesticks or brass items like this, or just interesting things that I feel like would be in a witch's like apothecary area. Next, I got a VHS cassette tape, and it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I thought this was so cute. It obviously somebody's dog might have gotten to it because there's some chewing up at the top here, but I thought this was adorable. It was $2. I think that it was even marked down. No, it was originally 99 cents. Regardless, I got this great Charlie Brown. It's got like the little tape in there. It's in great condition. I mean, it's not that I can play it, but it looks like it's in great condition. And I thought this would be really cute for my nostalgic area. So, the books that I've gathered, I have some vintage Goosebumps. I thought this one was hilarious with like this Jack Frost looking snowman on the front who's haunted. And then I also got, I think you guys have seen this one already. This was from I think 2 weeks ago when I went to Savers on an off chance. And it is another vintage Goosebumps novel. It's one of the earlier ones, and like I said, this one was absolutely loved. Like the cover is holding on for dear life. But that's okay. I like that it was loved. It was loved so much that the person actually did cut out the back. Like sometimes you'll find these, like here, this one I think has it, where there's like this, there's this area to cut out the back for a Goosebumps novel to send in for another Goosebumps novel. And usually people don't do it. This one, the person loved this Goosebumps novel so much, they went and they sent it in so I could get another one. So I'm really happy to be expanding my Goosebumps novels. I had said this before in my Halfway to Halloween video, I had ended up paying, I think it was $10 for one Goosebumps, vintage looking Goosebumps novel that has like, you know, the actual bumps and the slime frame on it. They no longer do that with the newer ones. I went to, the Savers that I went to yesterday actually had tons of Goosebumps novels, but they were all the newer ones. And no shade of those. I'm glad that they're still putting out Goosebumps, but I'm not a fan of the new print because it just doesn't feel nostalgic and iconic as the slime frame. So to be going to the thrift store and getting these for like, I think both of these were $3.99 or $4.99 even, because they know that they're Goosebumps novels and they're worth something, is great, because it really hurt my heart to sit there and pay extra money just because people know that you can charge more for those novels because they're just harder to find. Especially like this one, you can tell from the spine. This was one of the like one of the earlier releases, and you can tell where you have this like spine that doesn't have the slimed title, as opposed to this one, which although it's in better condition, it's also because it's newer, because if you look on the back of this one, it talks about like the Goosebumps series that didn't come out until the 90s, like the later on in the 90s, on Fox Kids, as opposed to the one I just showed you with the mummy. It has no mention of it because it wasn't out, like it wasn't a thing yet. And you can tell like on the spine here, you have that classics slime title right there. So things you notice. I'm very excited though to have both of those. I bought that one other one and I think I have one more. So slowly but surely collecting. I really do want to read them. I wanted to read them for the Old School April this year. That and Fear Street, and could not find, I still haven't found any Fear Street or Christopher Pike, which is insane. But we're still on the lookout and looking for those as well. And then I found another Betty Wren Wright novel as well. This one has Ghosts Beneath Our Feet, and it has this spooky looking ghost on the front of it. I don't know why she's in a mine shaft, but she's in a mine shaft. And this is by the same author that I showed you before that had the dollhouse illustration. Very, very early 90s, kind of 80s illustration that's really great and iconic. This I kind of really wanted to read, and anyways, and it's it came from Ohio, My Life as a Writer, R.L. Stine. It's basically a memoir. It's like a childlike memoir for R.L. Stine, which I thought was hilarious, and I absolutely loved the idea that like R.L. Stine put out like this memoir, but it's in like this child scholastic book type of way. Yeah, I just loved it. So I was just like, oh, that's kind of just for me to read. I'm not really gonna put it out in the in my decor, but I really did want to kind of read it and learn more about R.L. Stine. I know that he's from Ohio as well. There's something in the water with Halloween in Ohio. I really think that like we're the inventors of Halloween. And his whole like backstory and all of that. I know that one of the cool things that I learned about R.L. Stine is that Scholastic gave him like a 2-book deal or something. And because they just didn't think that the idea was really feasible, like putting out these Goosebumps novels. And to date, I think they've put out 280 something Goosebumps novels. And that's insane considering they didn't even think they could really sell 1 or 2 of them. That was interesting to learn. So those were the books that I got from some Savers trip that I took. All of these I think were all from earlier, except for that early Goosebumps novels were all from earlier this week when I went to Savers. Now here's some Christmas items. First and foremost is this great Christmas tree figure. It has this little angel up at the top and these little gifts at the bottom. It's $3.60. So they have all these designs, and it was $8. Not look, $8 isn't horrible. It's just not. Again, when I'm thinking of a thrift store, I'm thinking, oh, that's criminally cheap. That's cheap, not criminally cheap. And I'm just cheap. Because I remember the days when something like this would sell for $4. I'm also from Ohio, so something in Ohio probably still sells for $4. I'm not mad at it, though. This is great, and it'll really fit in with my other kind of items that have this kind of Victorian Christmas type of look to it. So I'm really excited to have picked this up. This was really cute. My partner loved it. As I've also made a note of on this channel, around Christmas time, I love collecting Santas that have a little bit of color to them. So I love collecting black Santas, and with my partner being Latino, I love picking up Santa. Unfortunately, there aren't, it's just like either it's a white Santa or a black Santa. There's not a lot of representation. I think Target has started putting some things out that kind of racially ambiguous Santas are starting to kind of come up there. But like, of course, I want that vintage look. And unfortunately, that doesn't come around often. But sometimes you'll pick up certain items where the skin has been slightly darkened because they were just off from making it kind of a lily white, like really white Santa. Or there's plates like these where the Santa is slightly ambiguous. So we kind of collect some things like that kind of, the Santa Claus that we got last year from, I know, Hobby Lobby. It was really great figure. But the skin tone and the look of him, he was kind of given racially ambiguous. So we picked him up immediately because he really gave that look. This one as well. I think he's coming up lighter on camera, but in person, he's kind of got a darker, and I think as the camera is darkening, that's a bit more appropriate to how he actually looks in person. And he's just a little bit more of a light-skinned Santa. So I called my mom, and I showed her, and then I showed my partner, and they both agreed, yeah, that's definitely a racially ambiguous Santa. So we definitely picked up this. I love the vintage look of it. This was $5.49. And it's going to go with the rest of our vintage Santas during the holidays. As I mentioned before, we have our Friendsmas every year, and I piecemeal together these Christmas tree sets. And I found this, I make a pound cake every year, and I've yet to find a plate, like a cake plate for it that I really love until now. I have this beautiful little cake stand, and it has this cute little Christmas tree, just like the ones that we love. Now, this one is not a Spode Christmas tree. It's by Jamestown, China. But it is very, very close to the one that we usually have. This one was $6.49, and it had this great, like, gold ring around it. And it's going to be perfect for my pound cake. Because it's not, we have found plates, but the problem is that I create a drizzle on top of the cake. Certain plates just don't work for cutting the cake and like easily slipping it out to put on your plate. We have tried like bigger like saucers, and sometimes they're just not big enough for how big the cake actually is. I even have concerns with how big this is, to be honest, because a pound cake just ends up being bigger than what you think. But we will see. I just thought that this was really perfect to add to our collection. So as you see, like, we have the wine decanter, we have this cake plate now. I'm looking for things that are like outside of just your normal, like, okay, here are plates, just so that we can have something that looks kind of like a full set, or you can put it all together and people are like, wow, this is really impressive. And so far, I'm doing really good. So usually I like to find them at thrift stores and stuff like that, not antique markets, because I like the fun of like putting this like collection of these items together. Another Christmas item that I got was this Christmas tree skirt. Now, I haven't taken it out, and I don't think I'm going to take it out now, to be honest with you. But this was $7, and this is how the tree skirt's supposed to look. It's supposed to be quilted with this velvet type of ring on the outside of it, and I think that this is great. I'm always looking for different types of tree skirts. We have a different tree theme every year. So I'm always looking for like vintage style, different types of vintage style Christmas tree skirts. It looks like it was barely even opened, which is crazy. Oh my gosh. I actually don't even think that they used it. It's in such great condition. There's nothing spilled on it or any stains. I think it's just been sitting in there. and it's humongous. Like, this is huge. I don't even, that's just it halved. And it's huge. It's completely quilted. It has these felted poinsettias or noche buenas on them, and it has these gold beads in the middle of them, like a velvet-like trim, and it's really substantial. Wow. Okay, so basically, I'm now going to have my entire theme around this tree skirt now. Will I be able to get it back in that box? Probably later, but not now. Yeah, that was $7. I can't believe that I got that for $7. I can't believe I got that for $7. And it feels like they didn't even use it, like they've never used it. Now, this is the last of my things, and I don't think any of them are Christmas or Halloween related. Yeah, they're just really great books. So for all my people who are into books and VHS tapes and whatever, stick around a little bit longer. VHS cassette tapes, I got both The Breakfast Club and 16 Candles. These are great. I like to collect VHS tapes of like some of my favorite movies, and both of these are just absolute 80s classics. So I got both of these. They were $2 a piece. Then I also got some great books. One of them was the graphic novel version of Fight Club. I've already read first Fight Club and I really liked it, so I thought I would also like to read the novelization, the second version of it in this graphic novel. So yeah, I thought that that'd be interesting. This was $8. So a little bit pricier. Pretty positive that's because it's a hardcover and a graphic novel and the size of it. But it was a little more pricier, but I thought it was still a really cool book. I also got The Dead Take the A Train by Cassandra Caw and Richard Kadrey. I've been wanting to read this for a while, and it was in really great condition. It was a hardcover, and I hadn't picked it up, mainly because it's $28.99 to pick this up. So I really wanted to make sure if I was going to pick it up that I wanted to read it. Instead, I got this for $4, so took a chance on getting that. Also got Talia Hibbert's Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute. Really excited to read this one. It's got bisexual representation and a plus size main character, as well as the fact that actually the romance novel that kind of got me into thinking you may not hate all romance, it's you just have to find the right one, is another Talia Hibbert book, which is Take a Hint, Danny Brown. Absolutely loved it. Still one of my favorite romance novels, and it's by the same person, so I wanted to check this out. Also, the people that I'm working with, the team that I'm working with right now, and my supervisor actually helped make this cover. So that's fun too. This was also $4, so I'm excited to also read that whenever I'm in a romance mood again. I found this mint condition, like no, they didn't even read it at all. House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. When I did my I Love Black Horror Month readathon this year, everybody in the world was reading this novel, and I couldn't wait to, it wasn't fitting into my TBR, but I couldn't wait to pick it up. For $3, I got this, and I'm really excited that I found it. I couldn't believe it. I threw it in my cart immediately because one, it was in just so great condition. No, like they hadn't opened it. They haven't read it at all. There's nothing in here that says that they even cracked it open whatsoever. So I'm really excited to open this up and find a time that I can actually read it. I know I'm constantly like, okay, I love the idea of that book. Let's see if it fits in a TBR one of these months, because since, you know, I do themed months and everything, I really want to find a time to read this. Who knows? It may be October before I get to read it, but really excited for that pickup. And last, I also got Life Ceremony by Sayaka Murata. This is also the person who wrote both Convenience Store Woman and Earthlings. So we're going to try this one out. This is full of short stories, and we'll see like when I get a chance to read this. I've been wanting, I didn't have the most amazing time reading Convenience Store Women. I love like what it represents and the character and everything, but the actual story I wasn't too excited reading. So I'm also kind of excited to read this one since it's a little bit darker than that book was. I know a lot of people have been obsessed with Earthlings, and I will get to it eventually. But I really wanted to try this one out, and this was $3 as opposed to the $17 it would have been for me to not pick it up. So again, thrift your TBR. So I'm excited to get at this eventually. And that is all of my haul. I know that it was a lot, both Christmas and Halloween, but if you've noticed from any of my past hauls, it is hardly ever just one season. I am constantly looking for both Halloween as well as Christmas year round. And some days are better than others for whichever holiday it is. Christmas just seemed to win out the other day. Even though I know we were in June, there's no way that I could have passed up any of these great Christmas goodies. Who knows? The next one, it may be the Halloween one. But I hope that you enjoyed today's video. I'm so excited about just a lot of this Christmas stuff is amazing. A lot of like the little trinkets and stuff that I found that will fit in perfectly into little bits and pieces in my Halloween nostalgia area and everything are going to be really amazing. So I can't wait to put all of that together. These books that I found are really great. I'm glad that I can start being picky about finding Goosebumps novels now because I've kind of started to get the ball rolling on that. It's June and we're now halfway through June nearly. We're touching. Oh, we're not even halfway. We're the first week. We're 1 week into June. Time is moving. So we're only 1 week into June, but we'll be getting halfway soon. So that means that it's going to be picking up from here. There are a lot. I mean, I've started seeing At Home is getting more stuff. Joann's is getting more stuff. Michael's, since a lot of talk is happening about what'll be coming next from them, they'll be getting stuff soon. I absolutely know it. So, and never mind the fact that Midsummer Scream, I keep saying Midsummer Scream convention is coming up soon. That's coming up in July, and I'm sure we'll find a ton of stuff there. There's just a ton of time still left. And so I'm trying to pace myself, not just spending money on things just because I see them, but honestly being like, do I love that thing? And then buying it, which has been a problem in the past sometimes, but I think last year I kind of started to get the hang of it and be picky and know exactly what I'm going in to look for, which is good. It's good for my wallet. It's good for my collection. So please stick around, like this video if you liked it, subscribe down below if you liked today's video because there will be a lot more coming in. For my book people, there will still be books happening. Actually, the next Sunday we'll be doing our reading sprints, so come back here for a live where we'll be doing our reading sprints and everything. I will be reading Night of the Living Queers, which is an anthology I've been wanting to get to. So I'm super excited to do that with y'all. I always love our reading sprints together because I get so much done. And stick around because there's going to be a lot more hauls and thrifting and all of that. I've also started my vlogging, so there'll be a lot more on there behind the scenes and the stuff that isn't just trapped in this book nook. We're only, what, 2-3 months away from me actually decorating, which sounds like a while, but it's not as long as you sometimes think it is, because you're busy doing all the collecting and the hunting and the things that are fun and serotonin boosting in the first place on why you even do this and anyways. So it's a lot of fun that should be coming soon. Crafts that are coming. I want to do some watch-alongs for like some movies and stuff. Just tons and tons of stuff. Subscribe down below if you want to check any of that out and be here for it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.